Addiction to Purpose with Riches in Recovery welcomes you to our audience. We hope that you enjoyed today's show and will join in the discussion by dropping a review or comment. It would be tremendous if you would like, rate, and share our content, or even subscribe to our channel. Please be aware that not all conversations on this show are suitable for children. Additionally, we may talk about things such as sexual abuse, domestic violence, and drug or alcohol abuse. If you feel that these things may trigger you, please do not tune in. Finally, if you are a heavy daily user of alcohol or drugs and are considering stopping, please consult a medical professional for assistance. Welcome to the conversation. Hi, welcome to another episode of Addiction to Purpose. We're really glad that you're here, and today we're talking about something very near and dear to our hearts and to our bellies, quite frankly. The name of the episode is going to be Bottle Down, Fork Up. And so we're talking about going from substances, alcohol, drugs, whatever your choice is, to food. And for many of us, that's sweets in particular. It's something that I definitely struggle with. As you can see, both of us kind of take up a lot of the frame when we're doing this YouTube show.
Well, he cheats because he has like all of his weight lower, and I have all my weight up here, and so I look huge. Well, up here, he looks like, oh, he's not that big. Yeah, he's that's a big cheater. No, down below the camera angle, that's a big guy. So
I do not. I think he's trying to say I have a big butt, guys. Like, I don't know about that.
He just does. Wait a minute. You're Rich.
I am Rich. Rich G.
I'm Rich V.
Yep. And so we are the Riches in Recovery.
Yep.
And, this is 2 weeks in a row that you get just our pretty faces. But
well, some shows we just really don't need to have a guest with us, especially like a topic like this.
Yeah, talking about food.
Pretty well.
Yeah, I feel like we can just lean on our own expertise here, no doubt. For sure. And so I think first off, we'll just kind of talk about our own experience with food addiction, and in association with both, I think our in how it relates to our substance abuse as far as alcoholism or other substance, but as well as like a standalone addiction. And so I don't know. Do you want to start or?
Yeah, I'll start.
Yeah.
Off.
Okay, great.
Easy for me. I mean, I talk freely about the first of my ancestors coming from Germany, and they're a bunch of drunks and continue to have a bunch of drunks and blah 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 blah. Since the 1800s. But I come from a long line of chubby people too. I mean, I go to a family get together, and we're all pretty chubby. I mean, we're all really comfortable with a fork in our hand, and what I found out from one doctor fairly recently that we have a propensity for binge eating disorder, and that's true with me. I could sit down and put down a good amount of food, but so I can do that. I can also just like graze all day long, but once, and so that was, while I was drinking, and even when I was a kid before I started drinking, I was always chubby. I mean, the only time in my life where I wasn't chubby, I was really into playing soccer, and I was a goalkeeper in soccer, and there were years there I played in high school, and I was able to keep the weight off there, and in college, and I did a good keeping the weight off then, but as soon as I stopped playing sports, I kept eating like I was still playing sports, and then boom, the weight came right on me. And I also ran restaurants, and we had really good food, and so I had to manage the restaurant. I had to keep trying the food, make sure it was good, And yeah, so I kept gaining weight, and um, but when it came to drinking, at first it went the eating and drinking together was great, and at the end of my drinking career, I hardly ate at all. I would, and I mean, hate to be graphic about it, but everything I would eat would go right through me, and my system was only taking in the alcohol. I mean, put down a 30 pack of Budweiser a day, and so anytime I put any food in it, it didn't want the food. It just wanted the beer, and or whatever alcohol I'd put in beside that. And so once I got sober, then my body wanted food. And it didn't want healthy food. It wanted cookies. Baked goods is what I wanted. And I'm a chocolate chip cookie connoisseur. That was chocolate chip cookies. Man, that was it for me. And still, I'm sober 10 years. Just last week I got to celebrate my 10-year sober anniversary. We had a great time celebrating it. Thank you very much. It was wonderful, and went to an amazing meeting that day too. Awesome meeting, but yeah, I'm on a weight loss plan, and I'm working with a bariatric group, even with it, and it's a struggle. It is a struggle for me. I can't exercise very easily either with the medical condition that I have, and so yeah, I have not mastered being able to lose weight yet, and after 10 years, I have not put enough effort into it, because it's just like alcohol. If I have a bad day, I eat sweets. If I had a mediocre day, how am I going to make the day better? Eating some cupcakes or something like that. And if I'm going to celebrate, what am I going to do? I'm going to chow down on some amazing hibachi food, and eat too much of that, as well as eat some cookies when I get home. And I still got to work on it. I still definitely have to work on it. It's a problem. And it is a problem for me, and yeah, so when I put down the bottle, I did pick up the fork, and I've lost, 60 pounds so far, and I got to lose another 60 more so I can have an operation. But then I want to lose another 40 more on top of that. Then I should be looking pretty attractive after that.
Yeah. Well, and looking good is one thing, but it's definitely one of those things that we also have to come to terms with. Like, alcohol and substances were going to kill us quickly.
Yeah.
And if we're not careful, food will do the same thing. It'll just take a little longer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, luckily, I every year I do take my blood work and so forth.
Yeah.
And luckily, my blood work is excellent, but that's only going to last.
It's
so
a ticking
long.
time bomb,
It
right?
is.
Yeah. I mean, it is. When we look at the United States and really the world, but the United States in particular, when you look at the rates of diabetes and heart disease and all of those things that are related to intake of processed sugar, intake of fats, intake of processed foods, of all of these things. So much of it is around processed food, really, anymore.
I went to the movies with my daughter and her partner
Yes.
yesterday because it was her 27th birthday. I got to go to the movies with her, and I had to have the snacks with me. And so I brought them out for fun. I wasn't eating them a little bit ago.
Yeah. We're not grazing today, or at least trying not to. We'll see if we make it through the episode without cracking into these.
Go ahead.
For me, yeah. So it's funny because I'm like looking back at my family in my mind's eye, and there were, nobody was the picture of health, right? Nobody looked like they were just leaving the gym, but there were fairly normal people in the food category. They were all alcoholics and drug addicts, but or many of them were, I should say. But you know, in the food category, most people kind of were normal. Maybe, I mean, American, right? So normal American is a little on the heavy side, but not. You know, not what the how's the doctor say it? Morbidly obese, right? Like that's, and I'm always like, man, that sounds real harsh. But it's just, you know, I guess it's the category that it is. But, and, you know, living the life of acceptance. Morbidly obese is the term.
Hi, I'm rich.
Yeah, right. Hi, I'm rich. I'm morbidly obese. But looking back, I think I've never been a small person at all. And in my immediate family, my sister, you know, has always had some weight things. Some of hers is attached to health as well. But looking back, I really think that some of it is attached to like my grandparents and their experience, you know, and maybe their parents' experience with the Great Depression and having food shortage. So when, you know, I was definitely raised in a family where, like, if it's on your plate, it gets eaten, right? You do not turn in a plate that is partially eaten. Whatever is on your plate gets consumed. Otherwise, you're in trouble, you know, and it's not acceptable. And my mom would tell you that I was a picky eater and that I didn't always eat all of my food, but the expectation was there. And so certainly if I liked the food that was fed to me, I ate it and then some. The other thing that I would say is that food and treats of that nature were used as a love language in my family. Yeah. So my grandparents, my mom, and such, that was something that when we could afford to splurge or spend a little extra money, it would typically be done in that form, right? It would be pizza night. It would be McDonald's night. It would be, you know, so that's what I learned was a reward, right?
Yeah,
so,
same with my family. We didn't have a whole lot. So when you got to go to McDonald's,
right.
That was cool.
Yeah, instead of it being like the pot of spaghetti or the pot of beans for the third or fourth night in a row, it's like, hey, we're ordering Little Caesars pizza, right? Oh, yeah, right on, you know, and
we didn't have Little Caesars.
Well, you know.
But McDonald's, that was...
I'm just saying, like, you know, that's how things worked out.
Pizza was once a year.
Yeah, well, Little Caesars, you know, was cheap pizza. Yeah, you know, so... And you got 2 for the price of 1 or whatever it was, right? So, and honestly, that was usually grandparents' house who were doing a little bit better than we were.
Nice.
Right? So we'd go over to Grandma and Grandpa's on Friday night or Saturday night and we'd get pizza.
Yeah, so, right. Yeah, Grandma and Grandpa, it was McDonald's. Yeah.
Right?
All the time. Didn't think about that.
So, but with that being like the love language, that being the reward, I think that in a sense that was kind of ingrained in me. Yeah, so as I grew up, my reward for a job well done, a shitty, like you said, just like with alcohol, good day, bad day, mediocre day, Tuesday, if I needed to feel better, I would consume something. Yeah. You know? And through my addiction, for the most part, I was a pretty good eater. Now, there was a kind of a time there where between alcohol and cocaine, there wasn't a whole lot of food happening. And I did lose, you know, I lost down to, you know, healthy weight. I don't know how to describe it, but I lost down to what my lowest weight has been in the last probably 25 years at one point. But then quickly reversed that and gained back up. Yeah. And then even in the heart of my, at my bottom, I still didn't get, now probably more like you where my eating was inconsistent and there would come a point in my binge drinking where I would get so sick that eating was generally off the table. Like even if I did put it in, it just came back out. Yeah. In one way or another. But yeah, but then when I would get well enough, it was like food, please, and definitely when I went into rehab, man, when I could get 3 squares a day, yeah, I was all about it. When I finally got well enough to eat, I was all about when's lunch, when's dinner, when's breakfast, like first in line if I could be. And then this last time that I went in, so they gave us the opportunity to order Amazon, although they made it very clear they're like, don't get crazy with this, because apparently they had people who had ordered, like, not exaggerating, they told a story about a guy that like ordered like 100 packages, and in his time there, they were like, come on, this is ridiculous. But so as soon as I got the ability to, I ordered like 5 pounds of gummy bears, Sour Patch Kids, and Hershey Kisses, 5 pounds each, and shared them with everybody else. And the hilarious part is in a house of 20, that was gone in like 3 days.
Oh yeah,
it was gone very, very quick. But yeah. So, and it's something that I still struggle with today. I've been doing really good for a couple months. I've lost about 50 pounds, but August has been interesting. I've had some things come my way with some friends, and then I just started college again, after a long time. And I have definitely had some pizza and fast food that was not on the nutritional plan. And so college, I'm just chalking it up to college. August, I'm just chalking it up to August is going to go in the books as a loss. Mm-hmm. And we're going to move on to September and just get back on track and not worry about it too much. But yeah, if I were in Overeaters Anonymous, I would definitely be like, hi, my name's Richard, I'm a newcomer. Because I have not been good about my diet this month. But yeah, that's it's a very real and active addiction in my life. But the one thing about, first off, actually I should back up and say, like, if you are coming out of a substance abuse and finding yourself eating unhealthy right now, that is perfectly fine. This is my opinion. That is perfectly fine. Crush the candy, order pizza, drink your sodas. If you're getting away from a heavy addiction of another substance that was killing you very quickly and causing your life to unravel, then it is my opinion that you should have all of the sugar that you want while you are getting past that initial detox and those initial humps.
Well, it just depends on, what kind of shape you're in. Because sometimes we can be in pretty bad shape when we're trying to get ourselves better. So
I guess,
yeah. Medically, if it's not going to be smart for you medically to do that,
right? Yeah, I mean, if you're a diabetic, then maybe
you go.
Right,
if you're diabetic and all of a sudden you get sober and know that you're diabetic, and you were like this close to killing yourself with alcohol.
Yeah.
Because of it, not a great idea to start grazing on sugar at that point.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, when I was in rehab and I finally got appetite back, there were these really horrible, cookies there. And I didn't care. I was throwing those things down. Nowadays, what are these things? No, they had to keep reordering them for me.
Like, cardboard with fake chocolate?
Yeah, they were delicious at the time, though. Yeah. That was the only sweets they had. Yeah, so I just threw those down until I got out. And yeah, we're laughing about it. It just... just like, we can laugh about being alcoholics because, we've been through it and we're on the other side, getting sober, getting healthy, luckily I've got 10 years of one day at a time, in me right now. And, it's appropriate at times for me to kind of laugh about silly stories that happen and so forth. It is kind of inappropriate for me to be laughing about all the weight I'm carrying, but what am I gonna do? Cry about it, in front of you guys and so forth. And, it is it is something serious that I've got going on with me, and I am working on it. It's just, yeah, it just comes really natural for alcoholics to gain weight. And, it comes with it. And it doesn't have to. If you're aware of it, yeah, you can go ahead and do that. I mean, man, I recommend whatever, you fake it till you make it. When you're early in recovery, and whatever you can do to get yourself through those difficult times. Once you get yourself into a good program and stuff, yeah, I keep telling myself I can do it, and I have to an extent, and I was doing really pretty decent until I got this nerve disease in my arm. Then I gained 120 pounds because I knew, when I got sober, it's something I did, and when I was really in a rut, I went back to the food, because I was so hurting for so long. And when I'm in a lot of pain now, I still go to the food. But, it just, yeah, it's not always the best thing in the world to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and when I say eat all you want, I'm really thinking I'm talking about that first week or two of detox when you're really having a hard time and your body doesn't really produce any feeling good
and that's
chemicals anymore.
That's why I say at first, fake it till you make it. Whatever you can do to get through. Yeah, sorry I made just a downer on that.
No, you're fine. But
you gotta fake it till you make it.
It actually leads me into kind of what I was going to talk about next, which is being mindful, not because we're talking about ourselves, because awareness and mindfulness of what you're struggling with, just like with substance abuse or alcoholism of any sort, being aware and mindful of where you are, admitting to yourself that it's a problem and you need to address it, is really the first step. And starting to understand what you're up against is the first step to it. So when I say take the handcuffs off, I'm genuinely talking about that first 7, 10, 14 days when your body is adjusting out and trying to learn to even produce things like dopamine and serotonin and all those feel good things that you've been either drinking or snorting or smoking something to get released into your body. Like, your body is now confused because it doesn't know what to do with those anymore. So
that first 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first 6 months when you're trying to learn how to use your brain again.
Yeah. Yep. So, so I do have a few things to talk about there. Like, why do addicts crave candy? Right? Why do we go to candies and things like that? I did a little bit. I am not a doctor and I am not a scientist. I am just a dude.
But you have internet connection.
I do have Google. Yes, it is. Yes, Google is a thing. So, and so we crave candy as addicts because we're looking for that dopamine release, right? We're looking for something to happen in the pleasure center of the brain, which is what drugs did for us. Mm-hmm. Cocaine, heroin, whatever it is, all release chemicals and triggers in the pleasure center of our brain that made us feel better.
Oh, all it took was the crack of a beer can, just hearing that, psh, and then that dopamine was. Your brain
knows it's coming, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, we're ready for this, right? And so even though it happens in a much smaller quantity with candy, it happens, and chocolate and all these different things, anything fatty, salty, or sugary.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. Yeah.
All of that. I mean, even saying the name, there's probably like a little boop.
Oh, yeah. I got a good feeling right there.
Right? I mean... So that's really where that comes from, and there are other kind of factors there, whereas, alcohol in particular that is processed in your body similar to sugar and things like that, but really it's the chemical release in the brain.
Yeah.
That you're really craving that chemical release, that dopamine release. And so then, like, if you're trying to ask yourself, am I actually struggling with a food addiction? What are the signs? What I look for in myself is, do I have cravings that are outside of I'm hungry? Right? So, am I wanting something even though my stomach isn't telling me that I want it? So where's the message coming from? Is it coming from my belly or my body, or is it coming from my brain?
Yeah.
So that's a big one. Is it stress eating?
Oh yeah.
All right. So what's leading to it? So I think you have to, when you're looking at your food and why you're going to it, for me, I have to ask the questions of why I'm going to it, and then be very honest with myself about why I'm going to it. Am I going to it because it's going to calm me, or soothe me, or make me feel better, or ease this craving, or ease my stress, or help me sleep? If, I'll raise my hand. I am one that I will get up and have that midnight snack and go back to bed because it soothes me and it makes me like a full belly, helps me sleep. Like, I don't know what that trigger is in my head. I can't really explain it.
I eat right, I'll snack right before I go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just like to have something in my belly when I go to sleep, and it's not good for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so there's something there, and it's really, and I think just being honest with yourself will help you retrain yourself. And that's not to say that if you're honest with yourself, you always have to tell yourself no because you're honest with yourself. It's more about mindfulness and awareness.
Yeah.
So you can say, well, am I going to go get this cheeseburger because it'll make me feel better than my salad? And even though the salad will fill me up and make me full and serve its purpose.
And it still tastes delicious.
And it still tastes good.
I enjoy salad.
But I just want the greasy cheeseburger because it's going to make me feel better. And you can say, yeah, that's why I want it. You can still go get the cheeseburger, but it's just better to be aware of what's going on. Or like, hey, I'm already full, but I'm going to go ahead and finish this plate of food because I want it and it's going to make me feel better. Things like that. So I think just building awareness of it around it. But if you're answering questions of, I'm going to eat because it makes me feel better, or because it's a craving, or because I'm stressed out, or because I need something other than sustenance, then you might consider building awareness and maybe changing food practices. Just like I'm not going to tell anybody that they're an alcoholic or a drug addict. I'm not going to tell anybody that they're a food addict. But the signs of you being a food addict is pretty much if you eat for any reason other than hunger and sustenance, then you might have some sort of a small addiction to food.
On a regular basis.
Yeah. Right? I mean, obviously, everybody can go have an ice cream or a candy bar or whatever, when they're going to the movies, but if it's just something where you're really turning to it like you would a substance, then that might be an addiction for you. So, and then the last thing is that I was going to kind of talk through with this is, what are some steps that you can take to counteract an active food addiction? And I'm actually kind of curious, do you have any thoughts on this? Because you've been working with your doctors and stuff on this. So,
well, it's funny with me. Once I do get, and it doesn't take long, once I start eating healthy, And I really do. I love a big salad with all sorts of stuff in it. I mean, I really do. And I like lean meats too. I mean, it's good and stuff. Um, uh, for my sweets, uh, if I sit there and I'll get, a nectarine that's nice and sweet and ripe, and I eat into that, I always go to myself, I mean, man, this tastes better than candy. Just as good. Why don't I do this more often? And I'll scarf down that nectarine and I'll be satisfied. And later on, if I, this is especially at the beginning, when your calories, you're watching them, but you go ahead and have a couple fruits in a day. I normally try to stay away from more than one, but you have, later on, oh man, I've got that candy munchie. I would like some baked goods. You have some grapes that were in the fridge too, and they're just nice and sweet. And so once I'm on a roll, I can go ahead and have a sweet piece of fruit instead of candy, and it really does satisfy me. If I do have a nice salad with some really good, lean chicken that had been marinated and cooked correctly, and a scarf on that, it's delicious. I make my own salad dressings that are just basically balsamic and olive oil, and some seasonings in it, and just delicious. And it tastes good, fills you up, and once I get in the swing of things, I don't miss all this other stuff. I don't. Once I get in the swing of things, it's just when I get out of the swing of things, then it's like I don't want to give it up, because it's easy. It's already prepackaged. It's already ready to go. That sort of thing. But then, as soon as I start eating healthy, and after a couple days, I feel better, and I get the swing of eating healthy. It's the exercise. That's the key for me. I have to put the exercise in there, and that's hard for me now.
I love it. That really speaks to
It's really hard for me now.
You spoke something actually that really feeds into something that I read earlier when I was preparing for this episode. And there's a big piece of it that is change your habits, right? Change your process. But the other piece of it is that there is a detox that happens. There is a genuine body detox that happens where when you move away from foods that are high in salt, high in fat, high in processed ingredients, and high in processed sugars, your body will detox from those things. And just like with substance, as your body detoxes those things, your body stops telling you that it needs them. So your body builds just like with alcohol or cocaine or any other addictive substance, there are things in processed sugar and processed foods. Again, not a scientist, but there's a lot of science on this out there. If you are so interested to go down the rabbit hole, I poked my head in the rabbit hole and then pulled it back out because I didn't have enough time to really go down it. But there's science out there that says that there are truly addictive pieces to that puzzle where if after a period of time, 10 to 14 days, somewhere in that range, if you've stayed away from processed sugars, processed foods, and things of that nature, and your body has begun to detox from them, your cravings for those things will go away.
Yeah.
And you will be more satisfied by eating, like you're talking about, your fruits, your vegetables, your meats, your things that you make at home, your things that don't have those other substances in them. Once you detox from them, you won't crave them again. So if you can change your habits and stick with it for a period of time, just like we do when we detox from drugs or alcohol, you will find that after a period of time, your cravings go away. Mm-hmm. Physical cravings. and then your mental cravings will at least lessen, and then you can work mindfully from there. And again, that's not about saying like, hey, I can never have treats again. You might choose to do that. There are people who live completely sugar-free lives. I was on a really good track. I had told you a few times that, like, hey, Abby and I, like, we have barely any processed sugar.
Yep.
This month has not been that case. Me and Abby both have enjoyed unhealthy foods. She has been on an ice cream kick, and I struggle with saying no to Haagen-Dazs chocolate peanut butter ice cream. It is just really freaking good. But but I had gone through, I feel like I had hit a point where, because I was talking about it really happily, because I had gone through a point where I feel like I had achieved that detox where I was like, I don't even feel like I want it, until I did, and then I ate it.
Yeah, I dropped 120 pounds in like 8 months, and I didn't eat any sweets during that time. Didn't miss it at all.
Yep. So I would say, if you're worried about it, you can use really similar techniques that you use for substance detox, but include, if you're a praying type of a person, include it in your prayers, including in your meditations. Use maybe some of the same things that you would use, like taking a walk or, distracting yourself. Draw, write, like just distract yourself from the craving for a few minutes and then move on with your life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have heard that OA is also good. I went to one of their meetings and I didn't follow through with it.
Yeah.
But I hear they're a good program too.
I definitely feel like anytime that you can get support from your peers on anything, especially if it's something that's really weighing on you, pun not intended there, but if it's something that's really on your mind or you're really feeling strongly about, I think that getting support from your peers is a beautiful, beautiful thing. The other thing that I'll say is if it's something that's really worrying you about your health, that it's definitely something to cross that line and talk to your doctor about, because there are things that your doctor can do to help. And I know, God knows that everybody's got Ozempic and all of those drugs coming across their feeds on everything and seeing it everywhere. And I'm not here to talk about drugs, but all that I'm saying, and I'm not on any of them, but all that I'm saying is that, your doctor might look at your program and say, hey, there is something that, coupled with, personal discipline and exercise, I think that this type of a regimen or this type of a thing in the short term could help you.
Well, I was able to use one at one point, and then I switched insurance, and my insurance now does not pick it up. But I'm working, like I said, with the bariatric group. They normally are the people that do the surgeries. I do not want to have a surgery.
Yeah.
But working with them, medical groups, and they normally use a type of medication. And they're trying to, get it through my insurance. But if not, then I'll have to do without it. But the short amount of time I did use one, it was successful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, hey, we'll just see how it goes. Whatever God decides to do, God decides to do whatever I put my mind to and go ahead and get done. That's what I need to do too.
Yeah. Well, we've both mentioned that in our past and in our heavy times of addiction that we did not work with medical professionals in our lives. And today I definitely am more than happy to listen to and take a doctor's opinion, unless I really think it's off base, and then I'm just going to go to another doctor to get their opinion. So.
One great thing about being sober, you get to go see the doctor now. Don't hesitate seeing the doctor.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about them saying, hey, how much do you drink? You could say, I don't drink at all.
Right.
You don't have to lie to them anymore saying, no, I only have one drink at night. I just have one glass of wine, or I have one beverage. No, you can go ahead and say, I don't have any beverages. You can go ahead and get your whole flipping house clean when it comes to doctors and go ahead and get healthier with seeing a doctor. That's one of the greatest things for me when I got healthy, when I got sober, is I go see a doctor. So I go see a doctor all the time. It's great. Really
or when was the last time you used drugs? Well, I can tell you exactly when the last time I used drugs was.
It was 10 years and blah, blah, blah days. And exactly.
Very cool. Well, do you have anything else on your mind on this subject that you want to throw out there?
No, I really used it as a substitute for drinking. Yep. And that was my crutch, and still to this day, if I let it be, it's my crutch, and I obviously let it be too much, and trying to get some help for it. You keep working at it, and like with AA, you keep coming back, and so I'm gonna keep coming back and getting work for it. Like I said, I've lost 60 pounds, so I know I can. So I'm just going to keep working at it and keep losing more. Hopefully, in the future you'll see me and I'll be, my face will be a bit thinner and I'll start looking a little bit healthier. And so you can keep an eye on that because I know you're going to want to tune into a lot more of our shows.
Likewise. I think that's kind of sums it up for me too. Yeah, I mean, hopefully I'm looking a little more trim and healthy down the road, and that's
So you can go ahead and write to us and give us a little bit of encouragement, and that way in the future, later on, if you feel like writing us to again, saying, "Gosh, Rich, you look awfully good," and you mean both of us, that'll make us feel good.
Awesome.
Right.
Getting to our final question. So, in the spirit of progress, not perfection, what's something that you've been working on lately?
What have I been working on lately? Yeah. I've been working on this lately.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. No, what am I working on lately? Had a nice share the other night that I was really happy with. I can't really work on that much. I'm working on trying to lose weight.
Yeah, I mean your diet. That's a great way to end this episode. That's
I have
fun.
Been actually just the last couple of weeks have been bad, but before that I was doing very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, why am I feeling so edgy about it? I've been tearing it up except for the last couple of weeks. It's just been tough. Yeah.
Just breathe, man. It's okay.
I know.
It's okay.
I know. I feel guilty when I'm not. I want to do better and I want to perform well at, this whole weight loss thing. And I was tearing it up until the last couple of weeks, and I'm feeling guilty about it. So it's getting me. So okay.
Sounds familiar. That's,
I know.
That's what we do, right?
Yeah.
Guilt is one of our specialties.
Yeah. Raised Catholic on top of it.
Yeah.
Too.
There you go, man. For me, what I've been working on lately is I started college again this week, which is a crazy thing. So I started
super cool.
Yeah, so I started school full time this week to do addiction studies. So it's kind of fun. I have homework for the first time in like 25 years.
Look at the stuff that can happen when you get sober.
Right.
Look at that stuff.
I'm getting help to do it through the state, and so it's really rewarding, and it's one of those I'm worth it things, and gonna go to school and do something to help people with what I learned. So I'm excited about that.
Well, you used your brain so much to try to get away with drinking and outsmarting alcohol. Now you're using your brain to have flipping nice podcasts.
Yeah.
And you're using your brain to go ahead and go back to school to learn about alcohol and drug treatment. That's awesome.
Yep.
That is awesome, man.
So the next one is, what's the greatest gift you have been given recently by recovery?
Greatest gift I've been given recently is I've got to enjoy my daughter's 27th birthday yesterday. And, once your kids turn 27, you're usually, lucky if, they'll stop by for a second to get their gift and take off. That's all I could really help. I mean, she's got so many friends, and she's getting married next March, April, to a great partner, and so I don't expect to be able to spend any time with her. But yesterday we went to a movie, went out to eat together. They even came by for birthday dessert later on to the house, and so yeah. I mean, it was great to be sober, to be able to be available to her. And she's going through a lot of stuff with, the wedding coming up and all this sort of stuff. And I'm just available to her all day long, not to only just have a great time, but, questions and all that sort of stuff, be there for her, and hugs. And, it was a great day yesterday. Great day. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I think I love that. That's great. For me, I think I have just really been given the opportunity to be super present for some friends that needed me recently. And I've just been able to be there.
It's great stuff.
And I've been in a position to be there, and I've been able to make space in my day and in my life and in my thoughts for them. And that wasn't something that I had before.
Yeah.
I didn't have space for anybody really other than myself.
And your booze.
Well, that was for me too. That was all for me, right? And even if I was so good at faking it, but really, like, if I'm honest with myself, I just didn't make space for other people. And now it just feels so nice to be able to make space for another person and just give them what they need in a moment and be there, like genuinely just be there for somebody and let them share what they're feeling and talk to them. It just feels really good to be able to be there for somebody that I love and know that I'm really present for them.
Yeah, it feels good.
That's really a gift for me. So last week we had my buddy here celebrating 10 years. And so this week I brought in my 6 months. So
nice.
This is my second longest run that I've had in the last 3 years, but by far and away the best quality sobriety that I've been able to put together, and it feels really, really good. So I'm excited about that.
You're a lot healthier this.
Definitely. Mindset, heart set. Every set, all sets.
Yeah,
much better.
Buddy. Definitely.
So, Rich, as always, it's a pleasure to sit and chat with you about
always
pretty much any subject.
Yep.
Food
easy subject, we know.
Yeah, easy one for us to talk about, and
yes.
I think thank you for being vulnerable on it today. I think you had some nice shares to put out there today.
You too, buddy. Yeah, why not? No one else will know other than
nothing
you.
to hide, not a whole lot that we can hide behind, right? All right, so if you have any questions about today's show or anything else recovery related, please feel free to reach out. All of our links and avenues of contact can be found in the description of this episode. Thank you to Rich.
Thank you, Rich.
And thank you to our audience for being part of my sobriety today.
Thank you so much for giving us some of your time. We really hope you got something out of today's episode. We would be honored if you would like and share the episode or leave a review or comment with your takeaways. Don't forget to subscribe to tune into future episodes. Have a great day.